when it comes to your songwriting and your creativity and the music you are making or want to make, your dreams about what you want to do with it, there's a voice that's likely running through your head that you don't even realize is there. Maybe you do sometimes. You might slightly hear it. It might get a little too loud occasionally, but usually it's pretty quiet. It hides just enough. It's just quiet enough so you can hear it, but not really realize it's there. And it says you're not good enough. You haven't proven yourself as a songwriter. You are too old. You don't have enough experience. You look foolish trying to make music. And people who take themselves seriously don't do that. They get a real job, whatever. You're just dreaming, being unrealistic. So this voice demands credentials and perfection. And the standard is always above you. So if you have ever been to an amusement park and before you get on the ride, there's a sign that says must be this tall to ride. I think I passed that when I was like 4, but there's in your mind there's this sign that's or a level that's above you. The line's above your head, and then you get a year later you're taller, but that went up with your head. So you never reach it, and you're never tall enough to ride that ride, and you don't give yourself permission. This isn't the world's fault. So you may have these thoughts because of something somebody or multiple people have said, or you've heard. Or maybe you picked up things along the way that you heard or saw and reinterpreted them into these beliefs about yourself and adopted them and didn't even realize it. This is pretty common. And the good news is that your thoughts are in your control. Your decision on how to respond to these thoughts and to the world around you is also in your control. Everything else is outside of your control. You can't change how people see you or what they think, and you can't deal with the circumstances that are around you and force them to be a certain way. You can take action, you can make changes and do your best. None of that is guaranteed. Your thoughts, though, are in your control. Having these thoughts are burdens that you aren't designed to bear. You're carrying this load that you're not supposed to. So there's this saying to act as if, and it's one of my favorites because it's so real. And the first time I heard it, like, I didn't fully know what it meant, but I did. It was like intuitively, like my lack of common sense didn't put it all together, but my intuition was like, I think I know what this means. And I had to like sort of learn to make sure, like, what does this really mean? And is that real? It was just such a foreign concept that it took me by surprise. I had to get used to it. And you might be thinking, if you act as if you are a great songwriter, you can't just walk around pretending you're great. And that's being inauthentic. And you're right. If you don't believe and that doesn't align with what you see reality or what you think it is, you're just not going to do it. But that's not what this means. I think that's where a lot of people totally like throw this all out the window, is because they think it's just, you just lie to yourself. And that's not what's going on. It might feel that way initially. But what this means is imagining that you are a great songwriter and do what that person would do. And would they walk around all smug about how great they are? And probably not, right? But if your brain thinks, oh, well, someone who's great, they're going to be smug and arrogant about it, you're not going to try to be great. You're going to think that that is wrong. I'm going to assume that you don't value being and admire being smug. No great songwriter is going to be doing that. Some might end up doing that, but that's not the what leads to being a great songwriter. That could be a different personality flaw that brought about, and you don't need to fear that. A great songwriter is going to be obsessed with getting better at their craft, right? Which takes humility, right? They're going to be creating, they're going to be taking action, and they're going to act as if, they have to do it. And that's what that means. It doesn't mean believing it without evidence, right? You never have evidence at first, so you have to get past that point where there is no evidence to gain confidence. You can't, if you have confidence without evidence, it's unearned, you're going to feel like a fraud, and you're going to have that imposter syndrome, and it's going to stop you right in your tracks. Those walking as if and acting as if are going to be taking action, right? They're not going to walk in fear and doubt and procrastinate and be a perfectionist about everything. They're going to walk in faith. They're going to have delusional optimism, okay? Not worrying about what they see. And those who do great things always do. They have that, right? It doesn't mean they don't feel the fear. It doesn't mean they don't doubt, but they're not going to walk in that. They're going to act as if in spite of that. That's what faith is. It's believing no matter how afraid you are, no matter how much you doubt, and doing it anyway. So what else are they going to do if they're acting as if? They're going to seek wisdom. They're going to learn from it. They're going to put into practice what they learn. They're going to get support from the right people, avoid the wrong people, take calculated risks, invest their time into doing what will serve their mission and their vision, and not waste time doing things that don't. And you don't need more time entertaining yourself, right? You probably do that too much. You might feel like you do because the burden of carrying all the worry and fear is so heavy. So if you seek out distractions in life from regular life, a lot of it's because your idea about regular life is being guided by these voices, and then you want to distract yourself, okay, so you don't have to hear them. And think about how many people are distracted by things. So that's how many people are probably hearing that voice, okay? So as soon as you cast off all those lies about not being good enough and not having enough time or skills or whatever is going through your head, right, you're going to feel light. You're going to feel energy, and it will fill you to take action, and you will feel it immediately. So I would highly encourage you to just start acting on that right away. This is going to be an ongoing practice that is more worth the effort it will take and the time it will take to master. I don't want to just say the positive things and leave you there. I want you to get going on it. So here's how to start. First, write down the negative voices and what they're saying. Record what comes to mind, word for word, without judgment or hesitation. Just let it happen. It's going to be a little painful. It's going to not be what you want to hear. Write down everything it has cost you and is costing you now and what it's going to cost you, and let yourself feel the unpleasantness. Most people are not brave enough to do this, but being real with yourself means you got to do this, right? Because if there's programming and thoughts in your head, if you're not going to face that, you're not going to face a part of what's going on inside of you. So be real with yourself. Don't hide from what's going on. Write down the opposite truth to each negative statement and read it out loud, and let yourself feel the hope. Try to read it with confidence. It's going to probably take some practice to read it confidently, especially if you've had those voices going on for a while. And if you've believed them for a long time, it's going to maybe almost feel wrong to feel hope. Hope will feel it'll feel like there's a disconnect, okay? Because you might be so distant from that in regard to this subject, not necessarily in everything. And that's okay. Just don't give up on the journey, okay? Don't give up on this practice. Immediately take action from the point of the hope that you felt and from that feeling. This can be a pivotal moment in your life, but it means moving into a new trajectory, right? So if you're going this way and then you want to change and you want to go that way, right? You're going to have to build some momentum. And that's going to take reframing things and how you're looking at things. And you're going to need to do this every day. You don't want to skip. So you have to reverse the momentum. It can be very challenging. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, and especially at first. So this is what to watch out for, all right? And you want to be aware of what's going on. So it's kind of like there's going to be warning signs, and you'll feel them. You want to learn to listen for them, so you can catch them quickly and get that thought out of your head and replace it as fast as you can. Okay, and you might have to do this 100 times a day. That's not abnormal. At least I don't think it is. And for me, this is what made the difference, is just being relentlessly committed to getting my mind on track. And there's a myriad of things coming at you in life that can knock your mind off track. But it's your mind. You have to protect it. You have to guard it. You have to be the one who is responsible for it, because no one else will be. So there's this old parable, and it made me think of this. And this isn't exactly what it's about, but I do think the principle applies. So a farmer went out to sow his seed, and as he scattered the seed, some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Okay? This is part of the parable. This is all taken out of context. But And then later on, the explanation or the interpretation of it is, when anyone hears the message about the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what was sown in their heart. And the seed, so this is a seed sown along the path. So it's a message of hope. There's going to be things that when it's new, that if you don't understand it yet, it's still foreign to you, it is going to get snatched up. So you got to come back to this. You got to learn to understand it. And that happened to me with this specific subject. Is I heard this idea and it sounded great, and then I got pulled into doubting again and challenges, right? And every time I come back to this, it's like I know it's the truth. All right? So we have to, as you get repetition on it, it's not new, and then you begin to understand it. Anyone who hears the message and doesn't understand it, all right, it's new to them. So you got to get understanding. All right, that's what the great songwriter is going to do. They're going to find ways to get wisdom, to get understanding. This takes diligence, persistence. It's a lifelong journey. I hope this helps. Comment below what your positive voice is, all right? And start combating that by speaking it, by writing it down, okay, sharing that. And I'll talk to you soon.